Hello, good afternoon, and welcome once again to another episode of A Journey into the Mind with Francis Mahan. This afternoon, I would like to talk to you about the balance of being conscious, about consciousness, about how do we create a conscious balance with everything that is going on in our life demands such as job, family, environment, society, and everything else that we deal with on a daily basis. We all know that the corporate world is demanding more of us, the regular quote unquote employees, unless you own your own business, which may create even further stress in your life. As a result of all the demands of our technical world today, we find ourselves being stressful. We find ourselves multitasking. And we find ourselves doing more than we've ever done before. Have you noticed that when you go to some of the small stores, such as the 99-cent store, you will find that the cashier behind the counter not only takes care of you and your transaction, she is also on the telephone and asking you if you want to join certain gift that the company is offering at the moment. Like that store, many other businesses are using the new technique at a corporate level to benefit them to ask us to multitask on their behalf, such as marketing, advertising, answering the phone, and doing many other tasks that are necessary to enhance the financial status of the business in a world where there is so much competition today. As a result, I myself have found that the reason why people are overweight today and are stressful and are depending on alcohol and drug abuse to relax is not because they don't know about health, and it's not because they don't understand the difference between being healthy and being unhealthy. It is the fact that stress takes a toll on you individually as a person, your well being, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And some people, when they are under stress, tend to eat a lot more and unhealthy. They don't have the motivation to work out, they do not have the motivation to go and exercise and do things that are good for their well being because mentally, at a mental level, they are completely exhausted. You are burned out. Today, people are suffering from burned out. Not only that, psychologically, it takes a toll on an individual. You have no drive, no desire, and if you have goals, how can you work on your goals when you're exhausted mentally? There is no motivation to do so. Which brings me to the point of consciousness, the mind, and how do we balance ourselves consciously to be able to deal with the unbalanced structure that we deal with on a daily basis, whether it is at work or the environment or anything that has a negative influence upon us. First of all, is it possible for someone that suffers from post traumatic stress disorder to be able to heal? And is it possible that if stress is caused by different levels of experiences in our life, can we learn to deal with those stressful situations? And the answer is yes. Let me first emphasize some of the stressful situations, such as post traumatic stress disorder, the loss of a loved one, divorce, losing your money, losing your job, abandonment, unfaithfulness on behalf of your other half or spouse. Many things contribute to our stressful and mental imbalance, which takes us out of awareness, out of conscious balance, and it leaves us in a very unpleasant psychological state of being. To restructure that, first of all, we have to use therapy. Therapy is very important because first we have to find out what is the cause of that stress to be able to deal with it. Secondly, self therapy or self improvement. In other words, one good way to deal with any stressful situation is to write it down, to talk about it, and to use it as a form of therapy to heal from that which is bothering you or stressing you at the moment. If you have lost a loved one or a separation, you have to learn to recapacitate on what happened, deal with it, accept it step by step. Because the truth is that nothing will happen overnight. It has been said that a separation, divorce takes at least 3 years to heal from, especially if you have spent a lengthy time with someone that you love. And all of a sudden, you have to find yourself all over again. You have to learn to identify who you are now with all the experiences of the past and move on with your life and let go of the subconscious attachment, which we are attached to someone that we live with for a very long time. All of a sudden, we find ourselves alone and we have to deal with that. The same thing happens if you lost a loved one, a baby, a brother, a father, a mother, a child of your own. You have to learn to accept that this person is no longer with you in the perimeters of your life and understand that they're never far away. That if they are part of your life and have been part of your life, they would always be part of your life in light and soul. However, that is not easy to accept. That emptiness and that gap that is there created when that person that you have shared so much time with is difficult to feel with anything outside yourself. Only one who has gone through that experience can understand the feeling. However, in order to understand the feeling, one must talk about it, deal with it, understand it, feel the process of the pain, feel the gap of emptiness, and know that it is a slow process until you accept the fact that life and death are equal. There is no difference. Life and death have equality. It's like a balance of life. You're given an opportunity to be here, and at some point, you are going to drift away from the present time and become that which you were before you entered into this life, into this world. I found myself that one of the best way to deal with therapy was for me to sit down and write everything that was going through my mind. Because the truth is, when those stressful situations come to life mentally at a subconscious level and consciously when the mind is quiet, they never stop. The only way to slow the process is through self therapy. Because perhaps your therapist can tell you what to do or how to express yourself, but in the end, you, the self, have to know how to deal with that mental problem because everything is in the mind. This is why I call this show A Journey into the Mind because we have to go inward and figure it out why the thoughts, why the feelings, why the emotions, why the emptiness, and why the gap, and sometimes even why the depression, which so many people today suffer from. Depression comes as a result of something that we want in life and we cannot conquer, we cannot have. And when we feel neglected and unable to reach that which we want, we almost go into a cocoon, into a shelter. And in that shelter, we only know ourselves and no one else. When that happens, you go into deep depression. And it is one of the most difficult emotional and psychological situations to move from. It requires outside help as well as thyself, because without you, there is no healing. Without your mental belief, concept, and perception of what is that is making you depressed, there is no healing. There is no healing. However, it is possible to heal. And it is possible that whenever you feel those feelings coming back, you have the mental power to say to yourself, I do not want to deal with this feeling now. I dealt with them. I know why I'm feeling this way, and I know what to do about it. It is possible to heal thyself, but in essence of healing thyself, it is also important to seek for help when one is lost and do not know the way about which direction do I go? Because perhaps that is one of the main questions everyone has when they're not able to consciously deal with something they're dealing with at a psychological, spiritual, or emotional level. We need guidance. And once we have that guidance, we can follow a path and continue until healing happens. Yes, it is possible to heal. Yes, you need therapy. Yes, you need self healing. And yes, you will feel the pain, the emotion, the tears, the anger, the resentment, even the hate. And all those emotions have to be felt and dealt with before healing begins. And it is a long process. Although it takes 3 years to heal from some separation, divorce, or death of a loved one, you will always feel every anniversary that feeling. It's almost as if the cells of your body or your brain, your neurons, recall precisely the year when it happened, the month when it happened, and why it happened. And there is a memory or data information stored in your body somewhere that recalls that every year, every anniversary. Therefore, when you feel those feelings again, learn how to deal with them, recognize them, understand that you have been there and dealt with those feelings before. Therefore, now that you know what they are and now that you know what to do, you can deal with them a lot easier. But it will take time. Therapy, conscious awareness of your feelings and emotions, and acceptance of what is. What is it that I'm feeling and why? What is going on with me, in my mind, in my body, my emotions, and my psychological well being that I'm feeling the way And that takes conscious awareness. It takes to believe in yourself and you have the power to deal with this regardless of what, when, and where. Thank you so much for listening to one more video of my episode of A Journey into the Mind. And it's been a pleasure, as usual, to be here with you. This is Francis Mahan from A Journey into the Mind. Thank you.